The Army's physical fitness test is a test that I don't want to take. And you probably don't want to take it either. But if you are in the Army, you're taking it. It is a blunt, simple, standardized test for the fitness level of anyone in the Army. Now, the test has three components. How fast can you run 2 miles? In 2 minutes, how many push-ups can you do? And in 2 minutes, how many sit-ups can you do? For each of those things, the way it works is, for the 2-mile run and the sit-ups and the push-ups, you get a score that's based on the Army's standardized scoring criteria. The way it works is you get essentially a maximum of 100 points for each of those things. Here's how Cadet Sergeant Katie Miller did on her Army physical fitness test. For a 17 to 21-year-old female, you rate the maximum 100 points, the top score, if you can complete a 2-mile run in 15 minutes and 36 seconds. Katie Miller did it in 13 minutes and 40 seconds. She beat the 100% performance time by nearly 2 minutes. For push-ups, you rate the maximum 100 points, if the top score, if in 2 minutes you can do 42. Katie Miller did 68. For sit-ups, you rate the maximum 100 points, the top score, if in 2 minutes you can do 78 sit-ups. Katie Miller did 100. Which means that on the Army physical fitness test, out of a theoretical maximum score of 300 points, Katie Miller scored a 367, which you can cuddle up with the next time your self-esteem gets the better of you. Katie Miller is at West Point. She's due to graduate in the spring of 2012. She is a graduate of U.S. Army Airborne School already. Her grade point average is 3.829 out of 4.0. The subjective judgment of cadet supervisors of her military performance is graded even higher than that. It is over 3.9. She is ranked 9th overall in her class of more than 1,100 West Point cadets. But she will not be graduating from West Point. She is transferring out. She's leaving for Yale because she says the don't ask, don't tell policy means that her integrity has been compromised, which means she is unable to live up to Army values. Cadet Sergeant Katie A. Miller submitted her resignation on Monday. She joins us from West Point now. Cadet Miller, Katie, thanks very much for joining us. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Rachel.
Where exactly are you right now? I can tell you're on a webcam, but I can't tell where you are.
I'm staying in temporary barracks at West Point while I go through my resignation.
I understand you submitted your resignation earlier this week. What's the process now? Are you still technically a cadet at this point?
Yes, ma'am. I have not officially been out processed yet, so I remain a cadet at West Point.
You wrote in your resignation statement, which I read today, I have created a heterosexual dating history to recite to fellow cadets when they inquire. I've endured sexual harassment for fear of being accused as a lesbian by rejecting or reporting these events. I have lied to my classmates and compromised my integrity and my identity by adhering to existing military policy. When you submitted that resignation, what was the reaction from your chain of command?
Well, actually, my chain of command was initially very supportive. My TAC officer, the first level of my chain of command, was extremely supportive. He maintained professionalism throughout the entire time, and he made it clear that he was here to help me and that he was going to accept my resignation. Then also when I went to the next higher up, my regimental tactical officer, he accepted my resignation, though he was weary of my intentions.
Where have your intentions in the sense that he wasn't sure that you were resigning for the reasons you said you were resigning?
He wasn't sure that was a good enough reason to resign. So yeah, I was scrutinized a little bit for that, but beyond that, they've been very supportive and professional the entire time.
When you describe the compromise to your integrity by adhering to existing military policy, when you describe what it's been like to essentially be at West Point with this policy in place in the military, why did that become unsustainable or unbearable for you? Why did you feel that you had to resign? What drove the timing for you?
Well, it's interesting because your first 2 years at West Point, you can actually resign at any time without owing the Army any sort of commitment or any sort of recoupment afterward. However, upon starting your third year, a contract must be signed, essentially committing yourself for 10 years to the military. And for the first 2 years, I was just sort of learning about learning about myself and not really understanding the repression that I was feeling. And then now that it's come down time to make the decision, I'm going in my 3rd year. I can't bring myself to sign on the dotted line, to commit myself to the military for 10 years while the policy remains in place.
You obviously knew about the Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy when you applied to West Point in the first place, and you described sort of a couple of years of personal growth, development of your own personal standing over those couple of years. But when you entered West Point, did you think that Don't Ask, Don't Tell would be repealed by now, or that even if it was still in place that you'd be able to endure it?
Before high school, I was very much in the closet. I hadn't come to terms with myself until high school. But around that same time, I knew that I really wanted to go to West Point, and I really wanted to serve my country. And I was able to put a personal aspect of my identity in the backseat, and that being my sexuality, so I could fulfill these wishes. But being recloseted has been a much bigger challenge than I ever anticipated. It's taken a much bigger toll socially, mentally, emotionally than I could have imagined. And I completely underestimated this when I decided to enter into the military.
If the policy were repealed, either anytime soon or in the next few years, would you consider rejoining the Army?
Absolutely. I'm actually really committed to military service, and this is something that's near and dear to my heart. And should Don't Ask, Don't Tell be repealed soon, I would definitely reconsider returning to West Point, or if it's not repealed that soon, then to commission via a different source and serve my country as an officer in the United States Army.
Cadet Katie Miller, top 10 West Point cadet who's going to be attending Yale next year on scholarship. Thank you for being here, and good luck to you through what I'm sure is a pretty traumatic process at this point. Thanks for talking to us tonight.
Thank you for having me, ma'am.
So the White House this week has made it clear that they are mystified by liberals not being more happy with them. Mystified. It's crazy. Liberals ought to be drug tested. What do they have to complain about? We have more ahead.